Hello again. This is Dr. Brandon, and now we are ready to talk about the principle of induction. So now we're finally kind of getting somewhere with Hume we're very close to the problem of induction. This is the principle of induction. And so let's go to this question that he has here. This is at the start of part 2 of section 4 of his inquiry concerning human understanding. He says, to the question, what is the nature of all our reasonings concerning matter of fact? The proper answer seems to be that they are based on the relation of cause and effect. So when we reason about matters of fact, when we reason about our experiences, we start to build these cause and effect relationships. When it is further asked, what is the foundation of all our reasonings about cause and effect? We can answer in one word, experience. All of our ideas about cause and effect come from experience. But here's the tricky question that he asks. But if we persist with questions and ask, what are our inferences, our arguments from experience based on? These are inductive arguments. This raises a new question that may be harder still. He wants to know, what are inferences from experience based upon? Inferences from experience are just inductive arguments. He wants to know, what are inductive arguments based on? In other words, he wants to know, what is our justification for using inductive arguments? How do we know that they work, that we can rely on them to some degree? And again, the problem is not that these arguments give you probable conclusions. We already know that in inductive arguments, right? The conclusions are not certain, but we still rely on them. When you go to start your car tomorrow, you're going to think, what about your car? That it will start. You're going to be very confident about it. Where does that confidence come from? That takes us right back to induction again. And so this is just a repeat of what an inductive argument is. Remember, it's an argument that goes from past experience to a conclusion about the future. And what we want to start thinking about here is, what do we need? Is this enough to reach this conclusion? Well, we really need to start thinking about are the laws of nature. So think about starting your car. What has to work for your car to start? The battery has to work, the gasoline has to be flammable, the spark plug has to work and create a spark. All these things have to happen. When you go to start your car, you think just these things are going to happen. They're going to happen just like they happened in the past. And why do you think that? Take the gasoline. Why do you think it's flammable? Because it was flammable yesterday. It has a flammable nature. How do you know that nature is going to stay the same, though? How do you know that the laws of nature are going to stay the same? Because they have to stay the same for the argument to work. And you can see that in the slide right here. Look at the first premise. The car started yesterday. Second premise, car started today. But you need this principle of induction. You need this idea that the laws of nature stay the same. If you thought that the laws of nature might have changed, you could not predict that your car would start, because so many other possibilities could happen instead. But you're very confident your car is going to start because you have experience with your car. And what do you believe about the laws of nature? You believe that they stay the same. You believe in the principle of induction. And why is this called the principle of induction? Because it's required for all inductive arguments. It's how inductive arguments work. They work by saying, I've got some past experiences, and I believe that nature in the future will behave similarly to how nature behaved in the past. I believe the laws of nature in the future will be exactly the same as they were in the past. So I've got that experience, I have that belief about the laws of nature. Now I'm ready to make a prediction about the future. That's how the principle of induction works. That's why it's required for all inductive arguments. That's why it's called the principle of induction.